So I had a completely different video planned for today. I'd recorded with about 5 or 6 different stories to talk about the issues going on with Paramount and CBS. It's really important that I'd shifted gears. There's a reason for that. Story is moving far faster than I think anybody else realizes, and I think we need to get to the heart of the matter, which actually starts on Wednesday. So, if you'll allow, here we go. Now, before we get started, real quick reminder, I do need to get to 50K by the early part of this summer so I can get to 100K by Christmas, which would be a great Christmas gift for me from you, which means double check you're still subscribed to the channel. And if not, please do so now. I thank you, not only now, but later, because I think you're going to be thanking me. Just turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I provide a lot of content, and I can't do this without you. So please help. Now, let's drop in on this CBS story. Well, I guess technically Paramount story or Skydance story or even Trump administration story, because it's all involved. It's all tied together. And the story from That Park Place says it all. Paramount and Trump legal teams enter mediation as CBS faces mounting internal shifts. Lots of shifts, including the sudden retirement of or the resignment of, I don't know, use your own term, but they lost Bill Owens a week ago, which we talked about at the time. But these dominoes have been falling almost every single day, sometimes one or two or three at a time. This doesn't happen until Wednesday, but it's important to talk about because in order for the merger with Skydance and Paramount to actually happen, they need FCC approval. They need a couple other regulatory agency approvals, and they need this to happen soon. The 90-day extension window is already ticking and has been for a few days. When you look at this story, you know that the man on the screen is going to get what he asks for, or at least what he actually wants, which the two are never the same. He always over asks. He has a big ask and then walks it back a little to get what he wants. That's the art of the deal. And if you've ever read any of his books, you know that. But interestingly enough, Marvin got this scoop going early on Monday. And as you can see here, Trump and CBS set for mediation coming Wednesday through who knows how long. They're trying to end the lawsuit, which has, I think, gone up to $20 billion now. And that's 3 times the value of what Paramount's actually worth. You always ask for more than what you want. And if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Paramount Global and those representatives are going to talk through this suit, and that's kind of important. In order for this merger to happen, everybody needs to have this set away because you don't want to buy a company that has an outstanding litigation that's something of this size and scope, especially since you could immediately lose the broadcast license for a broadcast network, which has not happened in my lifetime. I don't even know if it's ever happened. Obviously, a little rehash. This is all over what was going on during the course of the last few weeks of the presidential election when a CBS Paramount show called 60 Minutes, a really old news magazine with a lot of really old, crusty people, decided to do a lot of creative editing with an interview they did with Kamala Harris, the then vice president candidate for the presidency. And they really edited it to pieces. If you've seen the raw footage, you can tell they swapped word salad for something that made more sense. They cut out long pauses and replaced it with cogent answers, or at least some that were understandable anyway. And at the time, Shari Redstone was already engaged in conversations with Skydance to have Paramount Global just pass along right to Skydance for a decent chunk of change, which would restore her family fortune, which she and her dad in his later years squandered away by trying to recombine CBS and Viacom, which was a terrible idea. Of course, with the lawsuit now, we need to get that taken care of, but that comes with some invisible strings that are being pulled right now. You see, Trump won the presidency, as you probably know, and he put in place FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. Carr is a unique fella, and he kind of likes things the way he likes them. He also seems to like Donald Trump. So the expectation that he wants to employ the fairness standards that are required by broadcasters who use public airwaves to actually be honored. and focused on. And with a program like, well, 60 Minutes and probably all of CBS News, they have a whole room or group of activists that are only interested in telling narratives from their very myopic viewpoint, which is not what you're supposed to do when you talk about the news. If you want to be an editorial writer or make commentary, get your own YouTube channel. You'll probably do just fine. There's always an audience to pay attention to things that maybe aren't so true. And believe me, there's plenty of people at CBS who are really good at that. Suffice it to say, this Brendan Carr fella is going to be pretty important. So important that we're going to take you to another article from Deadline. It's FCC chairman saying that he has not yet reviewed public comments in 60 Minutes investigation. Says all options remain on the table. This news just broke just midday on Monday. And what's interesting is all of this is going to continue to move fast. This deal has to get done. And as I said before, the extension, the 90-day extension, already has the clock ticking. Very similar to 60 Minutes. So, from Deadline, FCC's chairman Brendan Carr told reporters Monday that he has not yet reviewed public comments on the agency's investigation by way of the CBS 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris about it being edited, giving little indication that a resolution is imminent. Well, it's probably not. Most people who want to do a good job do a good and careful job, which is what I would expect from any high-ranking government employee, which is why I've been very surprised over the course of the last 15 or 16 years that maybe I had too much faith. And as he told reporters specifically, personally, I have not reviewed those comments at this point, but at some point we will get to in terms of reviewing the comments and making a final decision. Carr also did not address Donald Trump's urging that he impose the maximum fines and punishment on the network. Well, of course he wouldn't comment. You don't over-punish for something that happens. You punish according to what is done, not what the maximum is just because you can do it. He specifically said all options remain on the table, and that continues to be an open investigation. It's really not very smart to comment on open investigations while you're conducting them, so I can respect that he really didn't have a lot to say, but at least he acknowledged here that revoking a network station broadcast license is something that'd be a pretty high bar for him to go down that path, and I wouldn't think this would rise to that, although if there's a lot of evidence of malice, this could rise in a way that most of these broadcast networks are very leery of, because they're all fairly guilty of framing the news. That's bad. And of course, all of this comes on the heel of a recent settlement for CBS already, where they literally, with malice, went after a person they were reporting on, Mr. Benneker, and they had to settle. Then this isn't the first time. We've seen examples of this at networks a lot recently. I think defamation is going to start rolling out more and more frequently as the news media tends to get things wrong most of the time now. But here's the interesting part. This is going to be decided soon. Why? Well, because we're within the FCC's 180-day informal timeline for review. Right now, that timeline sits at day 164. Not a lot of time left, is there? Regardless, I do believe that the FCC is going to grant permission for this merger, but I still think it hinges upon a decision from this mediation that's happening between President Trump and Paramount Global. Do I think they'll try to settle that in some way, or at least assuage the president in a way that will allow this deal to move forward? Yes. And I do believe that we'll be looking at some new logo for Skydance Paramount, just like we're looking at a new logo for Amazon MGM Studios. And I guess another one bites the dust. Either way, there'll be some form of change and an ultimate decision. Now, that's all I have to say on the matter. What do you have to say? It's audience participation time. So do me that small favor. Down in the comments section below, let me know what you think about this kind of action, this kind of lawsuit, and whether or not you think this merger will be completed. And let me know if you think that they're going to have to oust some activists from their news portions of their agency. And if so, what do you think everybody will be whining about then? On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others. Make sure you share this video around, hit the like button if you haven't already. And until next time, see ya for real.